Draw!
Damn rabbit, there's no
Oh,
way
it's a
you
good thing I didn't cheat, huh?
I refuse.
Last time I cheated was on my wife.
I don't even know how to cheat. Maybe we should change that.
No way you got it. I refuse. I refuse.
Indie games made by independent creators. What can I say other than I love them? Always providing the most unique presentations no matter how much you liked the game or hated it. No one can deny the absolute passion poured into the final product. Passions like telling personal experiences, learning from personal fears, and even teaching people how to cheat at cards. So let's take the heart of the cards and spit it back out as we think on Card Shark. At first glance, what would you think Card Shark is about? Because if you said it's about a clean game of cards, you wouldn't be exactly wrong. This isn't your typical game of solitaire. It's less about playing a clean game of cards and more about cheating. And as Billy Mitchell said best himself, the answer is no. Before we jump into the game, let's talk about the very thing it's based off of. Cards! These things are so versatile you could play them anywhere. Your house, your car, your lawn, publicly, privately, hell, everyone knows about a variation of playing with them. If it's to fool spectators into believing the unbelievable, or just gambling purposes. This concept is as old as time itself. Hell, even your dad knows about them. So old, in fact, that our story takes place in 18th century France. As always, I played this game on my Nintendo Switch, and even got a physical copy from Special Reserve Games. And much like Limited Run, they offer the chance to produce and distribute special physical editions of indie games. However, unlike Limited Run, they have a stock limit and comes numbered, see? And this one also came with a special set of playing cards. Very cool. The game was developed by Micheal, who developed Reigns, and published by the same Devolver Digital. Unlike Reigns, much of the game looks like it was handled by Nikola Trasinski, who brings a wonderful style that sets the game apart from the rest of the others. The backgrounds, environments, all have a rich smear of paint reminiscent of works of that time period. The game was overall inspired by Stanley Kubrick's film Barry Lyndon. And interestingly enough, that film was inspired by The Luck of Barry Lyndon, which was a book that came out in 1844. Both stories detail a rogue going from poverty to providence by rising through the ranks through conning, deception, and stealing identities. Card Shark begins with a mute boy who got flung into the life of a con man, the Count of Saint Germain, and spun into finding out of the legend of the 12 bottles of milk, if the legend of the 12 bottles of milk is real or not. The adventure is France-wide, so you travel from the top of France to the bottom of France, and all over it, even spanning to some islands, with a full cast of charismatic and lovable characters. The dialogue is both witty and snappy, that can be entertained throughout all of it, with compelling character interactions, and with a thin veil of silliness to it all. You know, for a simple game about cards, I didn't expect the story to be so involved. That is to say, I genuinely found it properly interesting. And I'm not going to go too much into heavy spoilers, as I do want, to anyone that is interested to this game, I would want you guys to experience it on your own, because I genuinely found it interesting. So I don't want to be the one to do that to you guys. However, with as much as a good story as it is, it's nothing for what it needs, the other half needs to be. That is the general gameplay gist of it all. So let's stop bragging around the bush and jump right into why we're here to talk about cards. The bulk and the main reason why the game caught on my radar was for its unique gameplay that it presented. Instead of your typical game about playing cards and cheating, it actually teaches you how to do it all in real time. And I love card tricks. In my past, I splurged a little on the art of card manipulation, even had a book and all that, and even tried to do some of the tricks. I really wanted to get my hands on it because of that. However, I can't say I enjoyed the experience, looking back on it in its entirety. So the idea of cheating and doing it is great and authentic and all that, and as far as I'm concerned, all the game presents is real, such as the techniques of in-jogging, out-jogging, false shuffles, and everything else in between are all things magicians, and I suppose con men actually do to manipulate cards in their favor. Even stuff outside the card deck, such as card tossing and the coin flip, are also very real things that anyone can do. The game even goes as far as to show you card order, which is really authentic to the experience. It is a really important part of setting up a lot of these card manipulations. So with all this intense practicality, what's the problem with the game? It is the means at which the player is playing it. Don't get me wrong, as a former card lover, I enjoy the card deck outline and the details the game goes to and provides that is above other games, to say the least. But with all that said and done, I got one question to ask you. Do you like QuickTime events? Yes, my dear viewers. Unfortunately, for as engaging as the game is and based in reality, much of it is relegated to simple QuickTime events. That is, pressing the right button at the right time, over and over and over again. Now, I understand that these issues are because it's a video game, based on an activity you do with your hands that doesn't necessarily replicate well in the virtual realm. I just wish it wasn't so frequent that made the gameplay a little boring and stale from time. Now don't get the wrong idea. Learning to do a trick, practicing it, and then getting the timings right and all the methods feel really good. The feeling of doing a card trick unaided for the first time is a better feeling than drinking 3 AM water. However, I must admit, after doing it for a while without interruption, at least the gameplay, it becomes stale and repetitive. The gameplay loop of learning a new card trick, practicing said card trick, and then doing the card trick, actually in real time, rinse and repeat unaided. At times, the game felt less like learning card tricks and more like a series of mini-games in that aspect. Only a few times where this loop became disturbed or interrupted, in which you had to think on the fly on what card tricks you want to make, is when I think really caught its stride, where the plan doesn't go as planned and the game then prompts you if you have remembered the skills you have to skill. You know, like improvising because someone didn't do what you were expecting, or you did something else than what was supposed to happen. And it's that thinking on your toes and being constant is what I think the game really should have been about. However, those are too far and few in between. That kind of makes it meaningless. And another thing I'm less stellar about was money and money management. After a while, especially once you get the groove going and know what you're actually doing, what used to be a problem shadowing over you, now is relegated to a passing annoyance. You see, the thing is that you need money to progress the game, because, well, you need to continue betting. However, after a successful con, you make back more than enough money that you had started off with. And money is not hard to get either, as you could earn money just by playing cards. And I suppose it's okay, since the game isn't really about making money and more about cheating cards.
Lastly, I want to touch on death.
That's right, death is canon in the game. That means that while adventure, you could die in the game, and death will be right there greeting you, where the choice is given to you to pay a fee to live again, or you could always just cheat death at a game of cards. However, cheating death is so simple and easy to do. Now, I would not take offense to this mechanic, as cheating death at the game of cards and winning is such a cool concept and really befitting of what you've learned, that I would rather it to be harder. You know, an actual achievement to attempt to cheat cards, and then you failing to do so is a really bad penalty. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'd love it to be harder and an actual, challenge to be able to successfully cheat cards at death. However, because death is so simple to cheat, it's really more, again, of a simple passing annoyance than an actual problem or, say, a boss battle. So while the game presents itself as a simple card game, I can't deny that it has a genuine novel concept, and it's absolutely dripping with style and ooze reminiscent of the era the game is set in. The game is not without its flaws, with its boring gameplay loops and generally missed opportunities, leaving the overall gaming experience that I had kinda muddled and less than stellar. While I am to admit the game is not for everyone, I can't deny that the game absolutely has charm, heart, and soul behind it, and I wish the developers very, very good and well wishes to whatever new projects they have in store for us. Now, if you excuse me, I'm off to go play some cards.
Damn it, I missed.